Final update. I lied about getting into college. 2 years later, my sister showed up at my art exhibit. It's been 2 years since the truth blew up my life. 2 years since I stood in my bedroom, clutching a fake acceptance letter, while my parents stared at me like I was a stranger. Since they gave me 1 week to leave and made it clear that the only version of me they'd ever accept was the one I had pretended to be. And honestly, I wouldn't go back for anything. These past 2 years have been the hardest, loneliest, and somehow most beautiful years of my life. I left home with a single suitcase, a duffel bag of sketchbooks, and a silent prayer that maybe, just maybe, I could survive out here in the real world. At first, I didn't. I struggled. I slept on couches, ate instant noodles for weeks, worked 2 jobs that barely paid minimum wage, and taught myself art techniques on borrowed Wi-Fi. There were nights I cried myself to sleep because I missed the warmth of home, even though I never really felt seen there. But slowly, things shifted. I started posting my work anonymously online. I did digital portraits, character designs, and even fan art. People started liking, commenting, and commissioning. My audience grew. I got noticed by a small indie publisher who asked me to illustrate a children's book, then another. I started saving money, got my tiny apartment. I even began teaching local art workshops on weekends. And then last month, something happened that I still can't fully believe. I was invited to show my art in a local gallery, my very first exhibit. I almost turned it down. Imposter syndrome kicked in hard. Who was I to put my work on a wall and ask people to see it? But my roommate told me something I still repeat to myself.
If you don't believe you're worthy now, when will you?
So I did it. The opening night was a blur of emotions, a mix of excitement, anxiety, and a surreal sense of pride. Friends came. People I didn't even know walked in, browsed, asked questions, and complimented the pieces I once hid under my bed. And then, halfway through the night, everything stopped. I turned and saw my little sister standing quietly in the corner. She looked different, taller, older, hair longer, but her eyes were the same. She clutched something tight to her chest, a sketchbook. Her hands trembled. We just stood there staring at each other for a moment. My throat closed up. I took a step forward. She took 3. And then she hugged me so hard I couldn't breathe.
She whispered, "I told Mom I was sleeping over at a friend's. I had to see you."
I didn't even know what to say. She hadn't spoken to me in 2 years. I didn't know if she hated me or resented me or blamed me for tearing the family apart.
But all she said was, "I've been drawing every day since you left."
Turns out she'd been watching me from the shadows this whole time. She found my art account. She followed me under a fake username. She printed my illustrations and taped them inside her closet door. When I thought no one in my family cared, she did. She told me she wanted to pursue art too, that she's been applying to summer programs behind our parents' backs, building a portfolio based on what she learned from my posts, that every time she felt scared, she looked at the note she gave me the night I left. "I wish I were brave enough to do what you did." Before she left the gallery, she slipped another note into my pocket. It read, "I'm not brave yet, but because of you, I know I will be." That broke me. I don't know what the future holds. My parents still haven't reached out. Maybe they never will. Maybe they can't forgive me for choosing my happiness over their expectations. I've stopped hoping they'll understand. I've started focusing on the people who do. And if my journey meant lighting a small spark in my sister, if my broken path helped her find the courage to choose herself someday, then it was all worth it. Every night on a stranger's couch, every cheap meal, every tear, every moment I thought I'd failed. Because I didn't fail. I just chose differently. To anyone else out there suffocating under someone else's dream for you, you don't owe the world a perfect version of yourself. You owe yourself a life you can live without pretending. You may feel like you're breaking, but sometimes breaking is how the light gets in. Thank you for reading my story. Truly, this will be my last update, but not the end of my journey.